Hi, this is an extension to lesson 3.7, finding percent of change. You should be on page 182. Since this is an extension of lesson 3.7, you can put these notes with your 3.7 notes. This is an extension. The goal of this extension is to solve percent of change problems. Now, you work with percentages in lesson 3.7. We're going to be working with percentages here also, but it's going to be finding percent of change. When we say percent of change, that means how much a quantity increases or decreases with respect to the original amount. That's what that percent of change means. I would get that in your notes. If the new amount is greater than the original amount, the percent of change is called a percent increase. So, if we have the price of blue jeans being $40 and suddenly it goes up to $45, that increased percent would be called a percent of increase. The price rose. If the new amount is less than the original amount, the percent of change is called a percent of decrease. I was walking to school today and I saw gas prices were under $2 a gallon when last weekend it was like $2.19 a gallon. There would be a percent of decrease I could calculate for that. We can use the percent of change formula here in the key concept box, but I'm going to rewrite this formula just slightly as a proportion, because I think you guys are very comfortable with proportions and you find them easy to solve. So let me rewrite this as a proportion. Now, you notice the right side's already set up as a ratio, so I got half the proportion there. So I'm just going to use arrows. The increase or decrease amount, just write the word amount in here. So that increase or decrease amount over the original amount, which is what this says, would be equal to the percent change out of 100. Now remember, percent means out of 100. So if you just use this proportion, you can solve any of these problems. We're going to do a few samples just to demonstrate that. Let's try these examples. Now the book shows it like this. I'm going to just use a proportion. So the original amount is 140, the new amount is 189. Let's find the percent of change. So let me write up my proportion. So over here, the original amount is 140. Can you see how this is an increase? I'll put an arrow up for increase. We have an increase of 49. Is it clear where I'm getting that from? 189 minus 140. There's an increase of 49. So my increase amount is 49, and I want to find the percent of change as an increase or decrease. So I don't know the percent. It would be out of 100. Okay, let me cross multiply real quick. 140x equals 4,900 when I multiply 100 by 49. I'll divide each side by 140. Let me put that in my calculator real quick. 4,900 divided by 140. I'm getting my percent of increase is 35%. I have a 35% increase with these numbers. Okay? And you see how easy that is with a proportion. Let's do this one. The original amount is 70. The new amount is 59.5. Let me write a proportion. So the original amount is 70. The new amount, can you see how we had a decrease of 70 minus 59.5? We had a decrease of 10.5. So the decrease was 10.5, and I want to find out what percent out of 100 that decrease would be. So let's cross multiply. 70x equals 10.5 times 100, that'd be 1,050. And when I divide each side by 70, let me do that. 1,050 divided by 70, I'm getting 15%. There must have been a 15% decrease. I'll put an arrow down for that in this problem. Okay? So finding percent of change should be very easy if you just write this out as a proportion, cross multiply and solve. They'll also ask you to find a new amount. If you know the original amount and the percent of change, you should be able to find the new amount. Now the book writes this. I find this a little bit confusing. Just use the same use the same proportion I showed you on the previous slide. Okay? Let's solve this problem and use our proportion from the previous slide to set it up. Find the sale price of a pair of jeans described in the table. Okay? So remember, the original amount would be 48 according to this. Do you see how there's a 40% discount? Doesn't 40% mean 40 out of 100? Discount means a drop in price. So if there's a 40% drop in price out of the 100, I want to find out what number would that be if the original price was 48. Well, let's go ahead and cross multiply solve. 100x equals 40 times 48. Let me do that real quick. 40 times 48 is 1920. And if I divide by 100, I just found out that x is 1920. Now, we got to be real careful on this problem. How many times have I told you in class, I would get x and be like, oh, exhale, I got the answer, great. Okay, this is not the answer to the problem. Here's what I just found out. The price of the jeans dropped $19.20. Is that what they're asking? Did they ask me how much did the price drop? That's not what they asked me. They wanted to know the new sale price. Well, let's get that. So let's take 48 and subtract the 1920. And if I do that, 48 minus 1920, I'm getting $28.80. There is one other way I could have done this problem. I'm going to set it up real quick. If you have a 40% discount, let me draw a little bar graph of that, 40%. So here's a bar. Here's the full price. This bar is the full price. Okay? I'm going to discount 40% of the price. So let me just take off. I'm taking off this much of the price. I'm taking off 40%. Does this make sense? If I take off 40% of the price, I'm really paying 60% of the original amount? Is that making sense to you? I'm putting a question mark next to that. Does that make sense? You're paying 60% of the original amount. Okay, I could have set up my proportion and got the answer right away if I would have done 60 out of 100 equals x over 48. There's my original price at 48. I'm paying 60% of the original 100%, and I want to know what that is. When I cross multiply and solve, I'll get $28.80. So this should be enough information for you to get going on the book work today. If you have questions, make sure you ask during class.